What's good, everyone? My name is Casey Crutchfield, and welcome to episode 13 of Enjoy Life. Before we get started, please hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to leave a comment. And if you haven't already, go check out some of our later videos, all great videos for y'all. And today we have a story about adversity and a great inspirational story in general. The man to my right, he's currently at Nichols, a brother of mine, and Dixie Camp Legends, I guess we could say. And this is just a great guy in general. My man, Mr. Myles Matherne.
Appreciate that, Casey.
How we doing today?
Everything's good. Life's great.
So, before we kind of get on into everything, man, what do you say is some things that's been up with you? What have you been doing this summer?
School and work. Chugging along.
It's the best things to do. So, just to kind of get into everything today, why don't we just kind of introduce the viewers on what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Myles Matherne. I'm a junior at Nichols. Then today I'm going to be sharing y'all my story, our cancer journey story that happened about 2 years ago.
And so, going on into it, you said you got the diagnosis in 2022. So
yeah, August of 2022.
Kind of tell me how, the process with how that happened.
So so that summer before school started, so the fall of 22, I had an enlarged lymph node in the back of my neck. Felt nothing of it. Thought I was getting sick, the typical, usual thing that happens, and your lymph nodes get enlarged. But it never went down for about a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Got on some medicine, went down, came back. So I knew something was wrong. Started to get a little painful. So we went to the doctor, had it excised on the 23rd of August, and ended up getting the phone call on the 26th that I was diagnosed with Non-Hodgkin's Burkitt's lymphoma.
Yes, and how does someone really react to that? Because, I mean, obviously that's devastating news. What was kind of like your reaction at first?
Well, I mean, no person wants to hear that C word, the cancer word.
Yeah.
I was very fearful. Didn't know what was next in my life. I plan on having many years ahead of me, but you never want to hear that word.
Especially unexpected and just kind of out of the nature with that. And what was kind of like with your loved ones? What did they say?
The crazy thing is I was never really sick. I mean, I was sick a little bit, I cough, whatever, but I was never really what the doctors say, like in bed, pain, fatigued and all that stuff. I was really the same old person, just going at everything that I do. So it was very different, I guess.
And did they kind of catch it early?
Yeah, so they did catch it early. Ended up being I think it was a stage 2, stage 3 of which is kind of early, but good thing we caught it.
And what was like kind of your thought process, after, you got the news and it kind of sank in? What was your journey from there?
So I was under 21 at the time. I was 19, so I didn't get the phone call from the doctor. My parents got it. So I was living in Thibodeau, and they were home. So they didn't tell me until the Saturday when I came home. So my grandparents were there, so I kind of knew
Yeah.
it was going to hit the fan, I broke down crying. I mean,
Yeah.
You never know how valuable your life is until you get that information.
Kind of news. Yeah. And so moving on, so you end up going to St. Jude
Yes.
in Tennessee?
Yeah, in Memphis, Tennessee.
And what was like a daily routine there at St. Jude?
So daily routine, I mean, wake up, look at your phone, scroll through it and see a whole bunch of appointments from 7 a.m. till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Almost like a work schedule, but MRIs, PET scan, CT, echo, you name it, I probably did it.
And was it more like interacting with like the nurses or like doctors coming in or?
Yeah, I mean, it was different for me, but it was also different for the doctors. So I went to a pediatric hospital, so they only deal with kids. I kind of met that role, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of know how that goes. I know I spoke about this in another episode with my epilepsy. I was kind of around your age range, and like even though you're over 18, they
Right.
still keep you because you're not 21.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how's like the support system? Like, were your parents with you the whole time?
Yeah, so my mom was with me the whole time. My dad came in for chemo, and then he went back home with me at the work. My brother stayed home to look over the house and everything, but some of my family members would come back down on the weekends.
And what would you say like the role that they had in it?
I mean, family is the most important thing, I think. If you don't have support, if I didn't have support, I don't know if I would have made it. Not only family, but from God. God played a huge role in that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that for sure. And what kind of like triumphs and tribulations did you have throughout your time at St. Jude?
So yeah, triumphs. I mean, literally everything. Just from being diagnosed to getting the news that I'm in remission. God just put his hand over my body, my family, and got us all the way through.
And so now kind of getting into the faith side towards it, did you kind of have a faith before all of this happened or?
Yeah. So, I mean, I usually go to church every weekend. Could say I had pretty much the minimum of a Christian.
Just kind of go to church.
Yeah. But when that happens, anybody can't take what it can take. You got to turn to somebody else and give it all to him.
Yeah, and kind of tell me, like, did you have like a specific moment where you were like, okay, I'm handing this off to you, or?
Yeah, around my second chemo. So a little backtrack. So when I got diagnosed, I had two options, or pretty much three options: to stay in Thibodeau, finish out college that semester, or go to St. Jude. And St. Jude, as we said earlier, was a pediatric hospital, but they had one spot left in a study. So it was the last spot in 13 years that study was open. So my parents gave me the qualifications of both of them, and it was up to me. And I think God just right here, go with it. That's gonna save you and that's gonna help you. So, yeah, we went to St. Jude. Guess the rest is history.
Yeah. And what does that like faith play on you now? Like, obviously, what would you reflecting wise say about it?
Yeah, and you look at life totally different now. You used to just live day by day, look into the future, look into the past. But guess I learned from being in that spot, from God helping me out to live day by day to the fullest. Be happy that you wake up. Be happy that you're healthy. Be happy for your family, your friends. Just things that you take for granted, you know?
Yeah, and it's funny, like, how before something maybe we say catastrophic happens, we don't really pay attention to kind of the little things. And throughout your time there, what would you say is like the biggest thing you learned?
Biggest thing I learned is put my life in God's hands. I guess I could say that the most. I mean, at 19, I didn't know anything about pretty much anything. Yeah. College, I mean, but put it in his hands and watch him work. That's all I can say.
And as far as school, how did that go?
So yeah, I had to take a leave of absence from school from that fall semester. So I took all that fall semester, and I'm very grateful that I was even to be able to get back into school in January for the spring semester.
Yeah, so kind of tell me about that, being able to come back. So how did that like kind of happen?
So yeah, so with that study that I said earlier, that study kind of wanted to see how chemo affected the brain. So before I got my first chemo, they did a brain MRI to see how it was before this. I go through the first chemo. So I had like a little test trial chemo, the little 2-day chemo drugs, and they tested me afterwards. So that first one went okay, second one went okay, and I think not until my first full one, I got another brain MRI, and then I find a low grade glioma in the left side of my head. Doctors told us this. I'm saying, you got the wrong person. I have Burkitt's lymphoma. I do not have a glioma in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So got piled on with some more bad news. But life goes on. We had to target the lymphoma, so I still had to do my 4 months or 5 chemos until I can further look into the low-grade glioma. So after I finished my chemotherapies and I was in remission from my Burkitt's lymphoma, I had a craniotomy on December 16th of 22. So I had an 8-hour surgery.
Oh, wow.
Performed by Lebaner's Hospital right next to St. Jude. I can tell you that was the scariest moment of my life.
And God carried you through it the whole time.
Yep.
And that's great to hear. So I kind of remember you coming back because at that time I was president and you kind of hit me up to come see you guys. What did that mean to you?
I wanted to stay in Thibodeau to be with my friends, have a support. I mean, I know I get support either way if I go to Thibodeau or go to Memphis, but just to continue life, because I didn't know how it'd be in Memphis and all that. But just to be back with the boys and to have friends and to connect with people again, it was something I haven't done in a while.
Yeah, especially, being away for that long of a time. And did you find like being after that you were kind of able to get back right into the swing of things, or was there any like struggles or anything?
So with that brain surgery, it was next to my speech center. So it messed up my speech. I could barely read. It was kind of like back in kindergarten again, and barely write, barely read, barely talk. So I had to go to speech therapy for a while. My first speech therapy session, I could barely read sentences. The speech therapist said, there's probably no way that you can be able to go to school in January. So I was from December to January, whatever, 20th or something like that. I get home, start reading, start writing, start talking more. And then went to 2 more speech therapies and check off. You good to go.
And like, what would you read to kind of like help with that? Is it more like simpler stuff or like?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like some regular sentences that you just word out, speak to the family, say some rosary. Yeah,
and so after that, everything was kind of clear as far as like post-surgery wise.
Yeah, everything was remission, still in remission.
Yeah. And I also want to congratulate you. I know the other day you went on your checkup, and that's great.
Thank you.
And so kind of reflecting on it also, what would you say like the impact that St. Jude specifically has on you?
I think if it wasn't for St. Jude, I don't think I'd be here. They have the doctors, the staff, everything that you can think of, housing, food, just, I don't know if you may know, but medical, I mean, you probably do know medical bills can be very, very expensive.
Especially when you're doing like
chemotherapies, yes. But St. Jude covered everything, which was amazing. I remember coming home and a lot of people saying, oh, I donate to St. Jude, but I never really know where my money goes to.
Yeah.
I say, it's going to a wonderful place. I mean, you want to see it, but you don't want to see it. You want to see it on your terms. You don't want to see it on something like that you never think would happen. So, but money is really going to a beautiful place, place that would really help our families and everything like that.
And so kind of tell me, I know they do like the marathon.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
So I was in remission of December 22. So a lot of my family and my friends, they came and do the race. I mean, I supported. I was on the sideline. I was still skin and bones over there because I lost 30 pounds like that. I never gained it back. But it was amazing to see people coming from home. I mean, it's a 6-hour drive, 7-hour drive from home, just to come race and see what St. Jude has to offer for families and little patients that don't know what they're going through, and raising money so they can live out their life.
And how much money does it usually raise? Do you know? Or
I can ballpark probably a couple million, probably more than that.
and so like, do they donate to like a specific raiser or like? Because I know, didn't you have like a miles for miles?
Yeah. So we started a little race, and so people from down here put into money for my team, and that goes into research and chemotherapies and everything that you can think of.
And so is that something like you're gonna have like every year?
Yeah. So right now, since I'm within the 5 years of remission, I have to do scans and everything every 6 months. So there's an affiliate in Baton Rouge that I go to in July, so I don't have to go to Memphis. But in December, I go to Memphis, see the former staff that I was, see how I'm doing, and I do the race when I'm over there. So last year I did the 10K. So I mean, that was hard. If you ever do it, train for it, because that's a big mistake that I made.
You didn't train at all?
I didn't train at all.
Yeah, that must have been a little brutal. I don't even do our donut dash, so I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah.
So are you a little bit more excited this time to go to Memphis? Because obviously you get to reconnect with the people that helped you. And then I guess you're more like available to go check out like what's around.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'd love to see the doctors and nurses that helped me back then, to what they saw me then and then what they see me now, how I guess it's a rewarding for them also.
Yeah.
To see, wow, I really helped out in this guy's life. Yeah.
And did you have like anyone specific there who was like kind of personal towards you or like made an impact on you?
No, I had a doctor, Dr. Ribeiro. He's from Brazil, but
okay.
I mean, he really never seen anybody that was my age. So I mean, we really got to connect with him. I kind of understood at the end of everything, like what's happening, what's going on.
Yeah.
So I mean, just to talk with them again, people that changed my life.
Yeah. And what do they really like have around there? Do you know, or not really?
Yeah, the big Bass Pro Shop, the little drive on.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I guess it gets boring after being there for a while. Picked up some golf. Never really played golf in my life. But once I'd feel better enough to just go outside, I tried to do something active to keep my body a little bit in shape. And
yeah, and like how long did it take for you to kind of decide to kind of get more active, like physical wise?
I mean, they tell you to be active, but with cancer and chemotherapy, you don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
You just want to lay your head on the pillow and just day by day go by until it's all over.
And how does that really go? Like the chemotherapy, like what exactly are they putting into you? And like,
yeah. So chemotherapy, I had, I can say, I guess rituximab was one of them. But they had a whole list of them. But I just remember rituximab because that was
probably the easiest one to say.
Easiest one to say, but it's the harshest one. Because a lot of people call it the blood of the devil, like the devil's blood or something like that, because it's a red chemotherapy. So my skin started to turn red and like,
really?
Yeah. So like it was very, like, took a toll on your body. Like you like just aches, pains, fatigue. Like my chemotherapies would last, or my cycles would last 21 days until I get another one. So I'd have chemotherapy for 5 days. So I'd have 15, 16 days to recover from all of that. So in those 15, 16 days, then I pick up golf and go do something outside. But I mean, that's not until like the 10th, 12th, 13th day that I could feel good enough to go outside.
And is that, so you said like 5 days, is that consistently like throughout the whole 5 days? It's just pumping into you?
Pumping chemotherapies. Yeah, nurses, doctors coming in and check on you. All right, I'm giving you this, giving you that. Really scary whenever they pretty much got like a hazmat suit on, putting in chemotherapy in your body, and like, guess I'm just gonna take it.
Yeah, you don't have any blockage. Yeah.
Yo, I mean, not scared. I mean, scared of it, yeah, but you don't want to get none of that on your body.
Definitely. And so, kind of moving on, did you get any more like hobbies while you were there besides golf, or it was just
not really about it? It was just golfing, trying to watch football games if I can, but mostly I was sleeping, and that was it.
Yeah. And so now, like, kind of moving on, besides the cancer, what would you say are like some of your hobbies to do?
I still play a little golf nowadays. I like being active. I like playing sports. That's always been my hobbies. Like playing basketball, baseball, softball, whatever. I just like to be outdoors, fishing, hunting.
Mm-hmm. And kind of moving on, I don't want to keep this too long. So, recap, what would be like your advice to people who, not necessarily just who've had cancer, or just like in general, just, I got diagnosed with something bad too. What would you say to them when you get some sort of news like that?
So while I was there, I kind of thought of this myself. But I guess everybody's going to say, don't take life for granted. Live each day to the fullest, for sure. Be happy that you wake up. Be happy that you can see your family and friends. Be grateful for what you have and what you don't have. That's a big one too. Because I've seen many, many kids and many young patients that don't know what's even going on, and they're fighting for their life. Yeah, just live day by day to the fullest, and be grateful, because you never know when you can get that information or that that news that can really
change someone's life.
Yeah.
And just kind of going on, this is my last question all the time. Why do you enjoy life?
Life's interesting. Why do I enjoy life? Just happy to be on God's earth. Being able to do what you want, when you want. Always know that somebody got your back. Somebody's putting their healing hand on top of you. Just living.
That's a great way to say it. LIVIN, baby. But Myles, thank you so much for coming through today. I really think this story is gonna touch a lot of people's hearts. And if you're going through something right now, the best thing to do is to keep God in your life. He'll carry you when you can't walk. If you put your faith in Him, like this man said, anything can happen.
Anything's possible with Him.
And with that being said, thank y'all for watching. Once again, please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't. Don't forget to drop a comment. We're going to keep on pushing good episodes. And Myles, once again, thank you for coming in.
Yes, I appreciate you very much.
God bless y'all.